Hello, student. Good morning. As we have discussed the fourth chapter in the history, that is about the tribal decus and the vision of the golden age. Now we are going to start the fifth chapter about when the people rebel. Rebel means to say here when the people protest and how when they raise their voice against the something, against the British rule, against the colonial rule, against of something. That is in 1857 and after. In this one mainly you will come to know about the 1857 revolution, that is also known as the first war of independence, and after what happened to our country. Okay, here the first thing they have shown here, policies and the people. We saw the policies were there and how the people react towards it. Okay, so let's have a discussion about it. In the previous chapter, you looked at the policies of the East India Company and the effect they had on different people. And we have observed and we have read as well, and we have seen in the previous chapters which sort of the policies were made by the Britishers and what were the effects of these policies on the people. Kings, queens, peasants, landlords, tribals, soldiers were all affected in the different ways by these policies. Whatever the policies were introduced by the Britishers at the time, so every categories people, whether they were king, queens, even the peasants, even the tribals, even the business persons, everyone just affected by these policies. You have also seen how people resist policies and actions, the harm of their interests or go against their sentiments. So, as well as we have discussed, and we will discuss more about the persons who just reacted towards these policies. Okay, mainly they resist the against these policies, and they have taken some actions towards these policies about just their sentiments. Okay, then Nawabs lose their powers. Whoever the Nawabs at the time during the colonial period, they have shown about them. What under this one they have given here, how they just lost their power, that has been shown. Since the mid 18th century, Nawabs and the Rajas had seen their power erode. So since mid 18th century, when there was a time of the mid 18th century, in the middle of the 18th century, so the king and the Nawabs, they felt that their power is going to be decreased. Here erode means to say that was decreasing. Okay, they were not getting, means their power was taken away from them. What happened at that time? They had gradually lost their authorities and honor. Residents had been stationed in many courts. The freedom of the rulers reduced, and their armed forces disbanded, and their revenue and the territories taken away by by step by step. Their territories were taken by these mainly about these British officials, mainly about the colonial rule, and as well as that their freedom as well that was reduced, and whatever they were having the residence at the time, these were stationed in many courts. Okay, and they have also shown that their armed force disbanded. These all the things were done by the Britishers in our country during British rule. After this one, many ruling families tried to negotiate with the company to protect their interests. So what happened? Whoever the rulers were there at the time, rural families were there, so they tried to make a negotiation. Negotiation means to say here an agreement with the company to protect their interests. They wanted to protect their power. They wanted to rule. So that is why they just went for negotiation with the company. Then Rani Lakshmibai, they have given the example here of Jhansi, the company to recognize her adopted son as the heir to the kingdom after the death of her husband. So here they have given the example of Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi wanted the company, what she wanted from the company, that is, she wanted whatever she was having the adopted son over there. So she wanted to be a successor of her son in the throne of the Jhansi after the death of her husband. Okay, then what happened? Nana Sahib, the what one example about the Rani Lakshmibai we have discussed. She wanted like this. Then another example they have shown here about the Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, that is pleaded that he be given his father's pension when the latter died. And this Nana Sahib, he just discussed about this one thing after the death of the Peshwa Bajirao, so he wanted the same pension. Okay. After this one, however, the company, confident of its superiority and military power, turned down this plea. What are the plea? Plea mean to say here, whatever the means requests were done by these rulers from the different areas of our subcontinent. So mainly these were just turned down. Awadh was one of the last territories to be annexed. So the Awadh, this was the last one of the last territory which was annexed, which were mingled by the company. In 1801, a subsidiary alliance was imposed on Awadh. So we have discussed about the subsidiary alliance. Okay, when the particular area was not able to give the revenue, particular whatever the revenue was just fixed by the and was demanded by the company, if you are not able to give, so the part was taken. The same thing that was done. Just because of this, the Awadh was annexed, that was mingled in the British company or British territory. Okay, after this one, that has been shown, that is, and in 1856, it was taken over. Governor General at that time, Dalhousie, that is, declared that the territory was being, that is, misgoverned, and British rule was needed to ensure proper administration. At that time, the Governor General of our country, that is Lord Dalhousie, so he just declared that the particular territory, mainly Awadh, it was misgoverned, not ruling particularly. So that is why there is a need to impose the British rule, to impose the control of the Britishers over this place for proper administration. Okay. Then after this one, the company even began to plan how to bring the Mughal dynasties to an end. So after this one, the company also tried to start it to try to plan how to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. Whatever the Mughal dynasty was there at that time, so how that must be finished from the country and how they can take over the charge of these things. Then the name of the Mughal king was removed from the coins minted by the company. Whatever the king name was in there in the coins, so whatever these were made by the company, so these were removed. In 1859, Governor General, that is Lord Dalhousie, announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of the Red Fort and given another place in Delhi to reside in. So earlier what used to happen, whoever the rulers in the Mughal dynasty, they used to live in the Red Fort. Okay, after when in the year of 1849, when the Governor General of our country, that is Lord Dalhousie, he announced that after the death of the Bahadur Shah Zafar, that he just decided the family of the king, now that they will be shifted from the Red Fort and they will shift it in the another place in the Delhi. Okay, then in 1856, Governor General Canning decided the Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last governor king, and after his death, none of his descendants would be recognized as king. They would just be called princes. So here, after the Lord Dalhousie, when the Canning became the Governor General of our country, so he decided this one thing. He just declared that the Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king, and after this one, whoever their successors, whoever their descendants, so they will be recognized as a prince. Okay, this thing has been decided by them, and after this one, they have shown the peasants and the sepoys. What happened with them? So we will have a discussion about this one thing in the next video. Okay.